Raptors were far from their best, struggled mightily in the second half on offense, but even still, it was a very, very winnable game. We'll talk about where the game went wrong and how the Raptors still should have won despite the poor performance. Let's get into our post-game show. If you guys have enjoyed the content and enjoy the content from today, make sure to hit that like button. It makes a huge difference to the channel. And we do content like this for every Raptors game. We have people working very hard to get content out like this for every Raptors game. So if you like the Raptors and you like what you see, make sure you are subscribed to the channel, helping us hit our next milestone. But it is a Raptors loss here. Big chance to go above 500. There's a tough schedule coming up for the Raptors. They fall to 9-8. Cavaliers improve to, Raptors fall to 8-9. The Cavaliers improve to 9-8. And 105-102. The Raptors offense seemed to have hit its stride in the most recent 4 games, where they averaged over 125 points in those 4 games. Today, though, only the 102, 52 at half, 50 in the second half. And where things go wrong today, mostly, well, it's the same old story. It's the same old shenanigans. It's the same thing. It's the half-court offense that is unreliable for the Raptors. I mean, 52 points in the first half indicates that if a team is big and has size like the Cavs do with Mobley and Allen, we don't really have an answer because we rely so hard on scoring in the paint, scoring on drives, because our three-point shooting just isn't reliable. Three-point shooting in the first half was decent, but it falls off in the second half, which just completely restricts the amount of space that we have on offense. Nothing we could really do about it. This team had an 18-0 run baked into this game, but taken away by a 20-point third quarter from Max Strus, which equaled the Raptors' tally of 20 points in the third quarter. So that's where a lot of the game is lost for the Raptors, who led by 10 at the half. But it's just a consistency on the offense. There's no easy way for the Raptors to score in games like this where the team has size. Like, we had a lot of fun in that Indiana game because there just wasn't the size to compete with the Raptors. We just played fast. The best offense for the Raptors in a game like this is a good defense. And even though the defense was pretty good, in the second half in particular, it wasn't enough. There was enough makes from Cleveland's perspective that we couldn't get out in transition. They made a point of taking away our transition game. They did so successfully. And as a result, Raptors couldn't create. We could not create. Where I also saw struggles for the Raptors tonight, the bench, again, was a problem. Raptors bench really struggles in this one. The 4+1 lineup is horrible. The 4+1 lineup is Flynn, Porter, Achua, Boucher, and Barnes. That lineup sucks. Barnes went -20 in this game as a result. Achua's -15. He's a turnstile on defense. He can't rebound. He played as a big and only had 2 rebounds. Chris Boucher struggled as well. Malachi Flynn struggled in this one. Otto Porter struggled as well. Like, it's just not fair to the bench guys, honestly. It's not fair to these 4 guys here to play them all together. None of them are that good. So play them with 2 starters. We win the Barnes, OG, and 3 bench lineups. We win those minutes. We can win those minutes, and they have won those minutes this season. It's unfair on Flynn, who plays better with 2 starters beside him, to take some load off him. It's unfair to Boucher, who's the same. Achua's just not good, so it doesn't really matter. Otto only plays 5 minutes. Like, we can win those bench minutes. You have to place 2 starters. You have to stagger those minutes better. And we did against Indiana, and it worked. I don't know why he deviates away from that, especially in a more difficult matchup here against the Cleveland Cavaliers, where Niang, Thompson, and LeVert all go positive off the bench. Garland goes +12 in this game because he gets the minutes with the bench. Struggled mightily with those bench minutes. As a whole, though, the starters, despite the great first half of efficient basketball, only 50 points, but the first half was great. We're up 10, using defense, turning it into offense. Second half, it completely goes away by the explosive start for the Cavs. They start laying down some points. Like I said, Strus goes unconscious for 20 points alone in the third quarter. Cavs outscores by 12 in that third quarter alone. We had no answer. We just had no answer. And the threes were not falling tonight. 8 of 32 from 3 for the Raptors. But despite all that went wrong, going 41.6% from the field, going 25% from three, the Raptors still should have won this game. They outpossessed the Cavs, and as a result, so they didn't outpossess them. They didn't win the possession battle, but where they did have the advantage, the Cavaliers shot 6 free throws in this game. They made 5. The Raptors shot 29 free throws in this game and made 20. 9 missed free throws. They go 69% from the line. Like, you clean it up a little bit. You lose by 3. You shoot poorly from the line. That's an easy thing to look at and say, that's where we could have improved. You play poorly, ultimately deserve to lose, and that's the reality. Some pretty poor individual nights here. Siakam goes 7 of 17, 18 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. Had 4 turnovers early that cleaned up. You know, in games like this where the offense struggles, the only play we can go to is a Siakam double, or Siakam post up, drawing doubles there. And that works. We got to lean into that a little bit more. Granted, though, could have had a more efficient night from P. Don't like him taking 4 threes either, and especially ones off dribbles. Or when it's not catch and shoot. Any 3 that's not catch and shoot, Siakam should not take. OG struggles here. His defense was great. He goes 4 of 12, though, 11 points. Defense was great. Held Donovan Mitchell to 4 of 17 shooting. Still couldn't help us get the win. Scotty Barnes goes 5 of 14. Another one of those games for Barnes where it's just nonchalant. Like, it just looks like there's disinterest. I'm not saying there is, but it looks that way. He looks a little bit disinterested in the game. He goes minus 20, 15 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists. Like, he could be disinterested and score 15 points, 8 rebounds, right? 5 of 14 shooting, though, is unfortunate. And where he really, really struggled today was the Darius Garland matchup. Darius Garland goes 10 of 16 from the field, 8 assists, 24 points. Couldn't handle that in the point of attack areas. It's tough because, like, you kind of pick your poison. Garland's a good player. I get that. But, like, every play late in the game was through Garland. Barnes struggled point of attack. He has struggled with these nimble guards throughout the season. You know, you're asking Barnes to do a job that he's not really equipped to do. Garland took advantage in a lot of areas. Where we had success today, Pirtle on offense was great. 8 of 9 shooting, 18 points, 13 rebounds. Schroeder, 5-11. I still think his shot selection should clean up. He continues to be efficient despite that, but I think that could clean up. But 15 points, 4 assists. Again, not much to complain about. Where we lost the game, late especially, Cavs late in the game kind of realized that we don't have a matchup for Garland, and Pirtle especially is a target in pick and rolls. Every play late in the game, they ran a pick and roll with Garland. Allen set the screen, brought Pirtle up. Allen, a really good screen setter, got Barnes off the ball, switched Garland onto Pirtle. He feasted on that. Either Garland would score or they'd find an advantage elsewhere. Every play, every single play, they ran a Garland-Allen pick and roll. If it didn't work, they just run it again on the same possession. At no point in the last 2 minutes did Darko make the switch that was necessary to win this game. He should have taken Pirtle out. He should have brought Gary Trent in. Gary Trent would go on to Donovan Mitchell instead of OG Anunoby. OG Anunoby would go on Allen instead of Jakob Pirtle. And you'd solve the pick and roll issues. Maybe Donovan Mitchell has more of an advantage because now Gary Trent's defending him. I'd much rather have that than the continuous pick and roll spam they possessed. If you bring Allen up to screen onto Garland, you can switch OG there. If they instead use Mobley in the pick and roll, you have Siakam there. You're a much more switchable team in that area. Or even like you could bring on somebody who's more switchable to that area just to make it more difficult because it was so easy late for the Cavs to continue to put stress on our rim and continue to add up on points. So even when we scored late, they always had an answer offensively. That was a mistake by Darko Rajakovic to not realize that we needed to take out Pirtle for the latter stage of this game. Yes, it would have sacrificed offense because he was 8 of 9. He was excellent on that side today. But Pirtle, it doesn't matter if we're scoring, if we cannot get a stop. And we needed stops late, and we could not get a stop late. That was a big reason why. So unfortunately, a bad night in a winnable game. And with the upcoming schedule for the Raptors, these are the games that will make you even lose a little bit of sleep over. Because, okay, next one up is winnable against the Nets in the in-season tournament. But then you have the Suns, the Knicks twice, the Hawks twice, 5 tough games in a row. Like, the Nets ain't no slouch either. Then you have a bit of a break against the Hornets. Then you have the Nuggets and 76ers. A tough stretch of games coming up here. This is a chance that goes begging to grab a win and get you above 500, but we got to sharpen up. Big story again, half-court offense is crap. And if teams sit low and we can't shoot, they beat us. And they beat us in games like this. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, smash that like button, subscribe. We get tons of views here. Not enough subscribers out of this content, though. So we appreciate any subscription for Raptors content like this for every Raptors game. We'll see you next time as the Raptors play next on Tuesday against those Brooklyn Nets.